Hello, today we're going to talk about the Snipping Tool Lab, and it's called the Snipping Tool Lab because you are going to leave this, when you're done with this, you are going to be familiar with the snipping tool, which is going to be a part of your final exam. Probably the more important part of this is it's a preview of what your exam is going to look like in terms of format. So when you're done with this, you should have a good idea of what to expect for your final, as well as a good deal of practice with the snipping tool. The difference between this and your final exam is that your final exam is going to be quite a bit longer than this exercise here. This is just enough to give you some practice. So I'm giving you this right here, which is the instructions, and this right here, which you'll need it at some point. So on that note, it'd be very wise to download all the files I'm going to be working with into a folder, such as this. So I'm going to right click, save link as, save target as, depends on what you're using. And I'm going to put this in a CIS 131. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Practice Word Final, or Lab, whatever you want to call it. It makes a lot of sense to create a folder for this project, and same for your final, because you're going to have a lot of things you're going to turn in when you're done, and it's going to be a real disaster if you're looking for them. But if they're all in one central directory, it's a lot easier. This right here is the instructions. So this first page here is just talking about the snipping tool. If you want to watch a video on how to use the snipping tool, what is it, then I suggest you watch that. You should all probably watch that. And some words about file management being important. So I'm spending the first couple minutes of this solution video talking about how you need to organize yourself and just the tools that you're going to need to be familiar with. Inside of this is just a bunch of things that in theory you should already know, but it's going to provide some practice. Alright, so the setup is done. I've created this folder to store everything in, talked about the snipping tool a little bit, and now on to the practice. So step one, I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to save it as specified. In this document, I'm going to have a 2x4 table, and in the right column, I'm going to enter the numbers 1 through 4. So this is going to be my answer sheet. So I'm going to create a new document. New document. And in this document, I'm going to save it as, and hey, it's a great idea to put this in that folder that I just created, which is in CIS 131. And so you'll see that, what is it called? Practice Word Final. And I'm going to call this Snip Answers with my name on it. All right, so putting it somewhere I can find it. That's step one. Step two, put a table on here. That table is going to look like this. And I'm going to put a 1 here, and a 2 here, and a 3 here, and a 4 here, and essentially my answers are going to go over here, and these are going to represent the number of the problem. So back to those instructions. It would be a big benefit to you to print these things out. I'm sitting here working on a Sunday, and our printer's down, and there's no one to fix it, so I'm just going like this. Alright, keep this document open. You're going to be using it soon. Alright, and that's where things get a little dicey, because we're going to have 2 or 3 documents open at one time. So create a new second document, no need to save it. Create some sample text, right? So what's sample text? Well, it can be whatever you want it to be. Want to create a new document? Sample text could be something like that, or sample text could be something like this. So see my video on creating random text if you want to know how to create random text. Nothing wrong with just mashing keys, I do not care. Notice how painful it is going back and forth here. But since I don't have a printed copy, I'm kind of stuck. So I'm going to format that text as follows. Algerian, 20 point, centered in red. So Algerian, 20 point, centered, and red. And it's going to be really easy for me to make a mistake on this because I don't have the instructions in front of me. So instructions again, I think that was everything I wanted to do. Now I'm going to create a new style from the formatting and name it Custom 1. Then from there I'm going to take a snip of it and I'm going to paste it into my answer sheet. So that's the interesting part. Alright, so I've got this stuff selected. So if I'm going to create a style from formatting, and this is where things get a little strange, not so much, but this, you notice this right here, this dialog box. I'm going to call it Custom 1. Now here's where it really, really would help if I had those instructions at my side. I'm asking to take a snip of this box here. I'm asking for a snip of the Create New Style from Formatting dialog box. I'll show you what I mean by that. So name it Custom 1, open the snipping tool, and take a snip of this. And so notice I give you some instructions like under the search bar, because if you're at home, you don't have the snipping tool pinned like I do. You probably have to type snip, and you type snip, and there it is. So I'm asking for a rectangular snip of this thing, so I go like that. That's the dialog box. And I'm asking you to paste it into the answer sheet. So you can copy it, and here's where, and switch to my answer sheet. And now here's an interesting thing. Notice I cannot switch to my answer sheet. So you're not allowed to switch documents with a dialog box open, which you probably didn't know. So now I've actually physically closed that, and I head over here and I paste it here. Now there was another little instruction. I believe it said to make that snip 2 inches tall. So resize this snip to 2 inches tall. So what that means, so I'm assessing you based on image formatting right here. So picture tools, height, 2 inches, there we go. And so I also want to show you something else. Now, you only get one shot at creating a new style from formatting, right? Like this little box here. Sometimes, and it's quite common that you create the style and then you realize you wanted a snip of it. Notice there's no way for me to go back in time. So I would be quite alright with you just right-clicking on that style that you already created and just click on modify. And you notice this isn't quite the same dialog box. Maybe it would have been a better idea for me to ask you to take a snip of this. But this would be a sufficient thing to take a snip of as well, because I know that you only get one shot at creating something from a new style. So if you want to take a snip of that and turn that in, that's fine. The thing I'm looking for is that you are able to create a new style, name that style, take a snip of that style, paste that style, and resize that style. Now, this little part right here where the particular dialog box is not the most important part of the exercise. So that was a lot of talking. If I spend 5 minutes talking about every one of these, this is going to be a long video, and it's going to be kind of long, but I don't want it to be any longer than it has to be. Alright, so we're down to here, paste, 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 resize, switch back to your second document, the one with the quick style, and close this document. You are done with it. So this thing right here that I never named, that's all I needed. I just wanted to take a snip of that style. I am done with it. So the thing that does live through all of these exercises is my answer sheet. Alright, so I was pretty generous with the pages here. I just thought it might be easier to read, maybe not. So create another document. Save it as Snip Practice. So this is a new document. And this one's going to be called Snip Practice. File. Save as. How about putting it in that same directory? Now this is one that I'm going to be messing around with for a few exercises. So I save it, give it a name. Alright, so this is killing me that I do not have the instructions at my side, but whatever. So I'm going to create a 3x3 table. I'm going to merge and split cells to make it look like that. So a standard 3x3 table, I'm going to transform it into that. Alright, so I'm going to insert a 3x3 table. I'm going to merge these cells. Oh, Jing. Bye, Jing. Alright, I'm going to merge those cells. I'm going to merge those cells. I'm going to split those cells. And what do they say? I think I know what they say, but I don't exactly remember. Oh, I keep flipping to the wrong document. So left, right, up, down. So left, up, right. I am navigating around my table with the arrow keys because that's the way you want to do it. And this should be your name, not my name. I'm going to tackle the alignment next. So these are center in terms of alignment. So they are centered vertically and horizontally like that. This is just centered however you want to center it. Now, I don't know if you noticed, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a split alignment with these cells. So this one's to the right, or sorry, that one's to the left and this one's to the right. My last name's pretty large or long, so it's hard to tell what I'm really doing there. And so there was a color scheme, which I don't remember. So red, yellow, blue, green. So that's a fill color. Fill color. You can do this other ways. Red, yellow. I'm probably doing this blue. That's not what I meant to do. So blue and green. I may have screwed up the color scheme. If I had something to refer to and I was not trying to do this as fast as I could, it'd probably turn out a little better. Did I get that right? I did. All right, and so I'm saying remove the borders, change the fill colors, change the alignments. I haven't removed the borders yet, so let me get rid of those borders. So I'm going to select my entire table, and I'm going to head over to borders, and we'll go to no borders, and we're all done. So what else? What's the final step here? Take a rectangular snip of the table, paste it into your answer sheet, make sure it is 3 inches wide. So I got to do the snip. So I'm going to open up the snipping tool, however you want to open it. Notice it's still open down here on your start menu unless you, or on your taskbar unless you got rid of it. So I go new, do this, and I copy it, and I head over to my answers, and I paste it. And at this point, hopefully you are getting a little bit of a feel for what this thing is going to end up like. And that's pretty tiny, and that's okay. I can resize the images as I need to when I grade this. So we're done with number 2. We're getting there. So notice this isn't really, I mean, I would hope at this point in the term this isn't particularly difficult material, but the format of this is a little bit strange. Right? You're opening one thing, taking a snip, pasting it in another, resizing it, switching documents, saving documents, closing documents. A lot of things happening, and that's one of the challenges. It's kind of not all that unlike what you do in your geometrics assignments. It's just I don't have a simulation environment, so this is the best I can do with that. All right, keep both documents open. Very good. It tells you we're going to be working with it some more. So now we're going to do this one. So we're on snip practice again. So insert a page break into your current document. On the new page, create this table. All right. So page break. I want to do it the explicit way. I'll just head up here. And now I'm going to create that table. I'm going to give myself a little room here, not because I particularly need it, but I might. That looked like a 2x3 table, and I have no idea what those numbers were. Yet another reason why you'd want to print this out. If you're taking the exam, the final exam, you will have printed instructions, so that will help. Checking, saving, still. So I'm just going to pause it for a second, and when I come back, all the information will be in there. Okay, so that was just data entry time. So that was just my setup there. I apologize, I'm glad that you guys have to enter some data sometimes, but sometimes you do. So where are we supposed to be? So that's the setup. I'm asking you to use a formula here to add up that row, and then we're going to talk about some snipping stuff in a minute. Well, I guess let's look at the snip. So we're going to take a snip when we're done. We're going to paste it as number 3. It's going to be 3 inches wide, and we're going to keep both documents open. Okay. So I need a formula here. So that's quite simply on the layout tab, and it's formula. There's nothing simple about this, but if you hung in there with the practice exercises, then this shouldn't be anything new to you. Some left. Hey, that's actually what we want this time, so that's good. So now I'm going to take a snip again. So new snip. There we go. And I'm going to, you don't actually have to copy it. You can just go straight to paste. It's a little bit of a trick. Paste it over here. Going to make that snip 3 inches wide. And so hopefully at this point you're getting a bit of a hang for this, which is the main point of this assignment. Is 1, I'm going to make sure that you have control over the snipping tool, and 2, I just want you to understand what you're even trying to do here. So we are done with that 4th exercise, which is kind of like the 3rd one. And so this one's going to be a little bit painful here. So we're going to make a tabbed list of this information. So notice that there are empty tab stops there. So that little gap, that means there's a tab here and a tab here. So it's first, last, address, city, state. So I'm going to go and create this. So I'm asking you to enter the text as well. So this is going to be on a new page. So I'm going to insert a page break. And down here, so it's going to be first, tab, tab, last, and then it was address, tab, and then it was city, tab, tab, and state, tab. I think, did I forget a tab there? Looks like I did. Alright, so that's what the raw data looks like. And so now it's just my job to set a bunch of tab stops here. So I'm going to select this first paragraph and drop a tab stop, say around here. Not really important where they're at, but I think you can see if I drop those 3 tab stops, my stuff's spaced out just the way it's supposed to be. Now it's just a matter of adding leaders, so I'm going to double click on one of those. And so some of you never really got the whole tab stop thing. In which case, you should definitely review all of the materials. There was no shortage of materials that I provided back when we were covering this. I mean, I tried to tell you guys it's not going to go away, and those are tab stops. Because if you never get a feel for this is probably pretty scary watching me just do this. If you're wondering how am I supposed to know how this works, well, we covered it. I tried to spend as much time on it as we could. So set my leaders. I mean, when it was the only thing we were working on, it was kind of difficult. At this point, it's going to be pretty difficult to go back and relearn it. So I'm just setting my tab stops. I'm not nitpicking about where they're at, whether they're at 2.5, 3 inches, 6 inches, but that's that problem. So I physically had to enter the data and physically press tab, and of course I had to enter the leaders because that's always a part of it. And so kind of done with all that. Take a rectangular snip. I'm going to paste it as number 4. It's going to be 3.5 inches wide. So open up my snipping tool, new snip. There's my snip. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to head over to my answer sheet, and I think I said I was going to make that 3.5 inches wide. Notice this looks pretty horrendous. That's fine. I think I said 3.5. That's okay. I mean, they're supposed to look pretty bad. Trust me, I know what to do with this. All right, so notice we're out of room now, and sometimes students don't know what to do. I would hope that you could figure out what to do if you needed more rows in your table. There is more questions, so you might need another row. If you needed another row, well, you would quite simply just insert one below or press tab. So if this table needs to grow, then you know how to do that. It's just a table question. And that's one of the interesting skills that's happening in the background here, is that I'm also assessing your ability to work with tables and paste and images. So we're almost done. So we did that. For some of you, that was probably a pretty tough one. If it was, then you know what you need to review. And on this last skill, we are going to do a mail merge. Oh, actually, so I keep kind of just skipping this last part here where it says save and close. So we're actually done with this document. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to create a new blank document, and I'm going to do some mailing labels. So it's kind of a standard mail merge, except for this part. I'm going to sort the recipients by last name, and I do not want to send one to King Kong or the blank record. Alright, so I can do this without looking again. Also notice I'm not asking for a snip. So this sheet right here is done. If I wanted to save it, I certainly could. So I'm going to create a new document, and we're going to do a mail merge. So mail merge is under mailing. Start mail merge. We're doing labels. We're going to be doing Avery 5160. Select recipients, use existing list. If you're having a hard time following this, then you need to spend some more time on the mail merge material that I gave you for this week. Again, I tried to give you as much as I could because I consider this to be one of the more confusing things, at least until you spend some time on it. So it's called practice final word, and so that database right there is where these labels are going to come from. I click OK. Edit recipient list. Now I said sort it by last name. Don't send one to King Kong or the blank record. I click OK. Work my way across. I'm now in an address block. I click just OK. I'm not asking for anything special. I'm kind of done. I just need to update labels, which is going to copy that address block. Now if I preview results, I am done. Right? Those are mailing labels. None of those steps were optional. So I'm asking you to save this as mailing label practice, first initial last name. Notice I'm not asking for a snip. So mailing label practice. Put that in that same folder. Mailing label practice and my name. And now I am done. Kind of, sort of. Let's see what's the final steps asking you to do here. Alright, so then I'm just asking you to please submit your answer sheet, snip practice, and mailing label practice. So notice you are turning in 3 separate documents, and so if you're not saving those all in the same place, you're going to have a heck of a time finding them, and that doesn't sound like fun to me. I can just imagine, and it oftentimes happens to the students that don't put in the time practicing. They're just searching for their files, and they lose things on the final, and that's not a good thing. But at this point, you're at the end of CIS 131. File management shouldn't be something that you're tripping over on a daily basis. I mean, it's not one of those things we explicitly work with on a daily basis, but it's regarded as a prerequisite for the course. And at this point, you should be pretty comfortable with it. So now it's just going to be a matter of turning this stuff in. So you go on into here, and you would just attach all 3 files. Do not zip them. I do not like it when you zip your files together. It's pretty painful because I have to unzip it, and it's just not easier. So there's 3 things in here, right? 1, 2, 3, and notice how easy it is to find them. Like, there's clearly just 3 things here, and I'm not allowed to turn things in because I'm the instructor of the course. So the first time I think you spend some time on this format, it's probably kind of weird looking, and I agree, it is kind of weird. If I knew a better way to do it, I would do it a better way, but I think this is probably the best way to put together your exam. So if you have questions about, how are things supposed to look, I tried to address everything the best I could. Make sure to review all the material for the week, and if you could navigate through this exercise pretty fluently, then I don't think you have anything to worry about with the final. If this was clunky and it took you a super long time just trying to find things and trying to figure out where everything's supposed to go, then you certainly do this a couple times until you're comfortable with it. There's also a practice exam, which is kind of similar to this, but I'd say this, I tried to do a little better job of walking you through it. The practice test is more just meant to familiarize you with the shape of the questions that you're going to see. This is more about the format, which I thought was more important. So, like I said, if you got any specific questions, go ahead and send me an email. Thanks for taking the time to complete this. It's going to help you for your exam.